Guys, trying to turn $10,000 into $1 million in a very short amount of time, live on YouTube with you guys. This is the 10K to $1 million challenge. We're going to talk about my strategy. A lot of people said, how are you going to do it? What are you doing? What trades are you taking? Just 2 trades. I plan to turn 10K into 1 million. Now, obviously, this is crypto. Anything's possible, which is why I'm only risking 1% of my portfolio to try and do this, guys. Okay, so remember that. We're also going to look at the ETF outflows. We continue to see the institutions selling Bitcoin, selling Ethereum. We continue to crash to the downside. James Green is still bullish. So yeah, a lot we need to talk about. Let's start off with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we're continuing to see aggressive flows out of Bitcoin over the last few days, and same with Ethereum. We were getting a lot of inflows, and I did post a video saying, look, we could potentially see more upside here, and then it just completely flipped. Now, what's strange about this flip is the institutions started to go short. So shorts reached all-time highs, and then shortly after this, we saw loads of outflows. So there is some sort of inside information going around, because literally the next day we started to see the ETF starting to offload, and Ethereum's had one of its biggest over the last couple of days in terms of outflows, right? So, you know, what's going on? Is this going to increase? How long is this going to last for? We can clearly see that something's going down. Similar story on chain. And yeah, it looks like for now we're actually gonna lose this support line here. And the technical target of this descending triangle, the short-term technical target is 106,000. I actually think we're gonna come down to 100, somewhere between 98 and $102,000. Okay. The reason I say 98 is because there's going to be a lot of limit orders. There's going to be a lot of longs around 100K. So I think one of two things might happen if we do come down to this area. I think potentially we get front run, so we don't hit 100K. There's loads of limit buy orders that set at 100K. They don't want to trigger those longs. So maybe we get front run and it bottoms around 102 or 101K. Or we come back for those 100K longs and we try and liquidate them and we push down to 98, 97. This would be disbelief for a lot of people, and then we push to the upside. So what 2 trades am I taking to try and make 10K into, try and turn 10K into $1 million? So this is my first short. So I'm trying to short Bitcoin here down to 100K, and this would return. So I've got $10,000 short on, and this would, a little bit more than that, and this would return. It's not quite 100K. It's like $110,000 or $111,000. Okay. So if move 1 to the downside, I'm taking 2 trades. If move 1 right now, Bitcoin crashes. Okay. So I'm betting that it's going to come down to 100K. My 10K, it will be worth over 100K, but let's just say for now it's going to be 100K. I think it's going to be somewhere around 110, 120K if it reaches that target. I've already set my stop loss. Okay, so stop loss is set. What does that mean? It means I can't lose any money. So it's already a free lottery ticket because it's already in some profits. As you guys know, we entered shorts. We've been entering shorts since Ethereum sort of reached all-time high, around the all-time high area. And they're already in profits. I've already taken some profits off some of these trades. So I can't lose any money now. Okay, so that's the main point. It's a free lottery ticket. It's only 1% of my portfolio. Well, it's not anything now because it has a stop loss, right? So it's free money now. That's my first trade, betting that Bitcoin comes down to 100K. That would return 100K. What's the second trade? So if this plays out, then I plan to look for a long position somewhere between 102,000 and 98,000. I don't know whether I'm going to place a single 100K, because obviously if I've turned my 10K into 100K, I now have 100K to play with, and I'm going to place a $100,000 trade if this plays out. I don't know if I'm going to ladder in. I don't know if I'm going to put lots of different 20K longs on. I don't know if I'm going to put 50K on here and then maybe wait, if it comes to 98, put another 50K on. I don't know if I'm going to try and front run 100K. I'm going to look at the news. I'm going to look at the data. I'm going to look at the ETF flows. I'm going to look at the smart money. I'm going to look at all the on-chain tools that we have that are phenomenal for timing bottoms and reversals. It's not so easy to time tops. Sometimes we do get these signals, but it's not that easy to time tops. But for bottoms, there is so many indicators that we can use to try and time these. So then I'm going to take a long. So whether I might dollar cost average in, I don't know. We'll see at the time. But then I'm going to take a long position with 100k. So if BTC has just come down, in an ideal world, we've reached extreme fear. Even the bulls are starting to flip bearish. You know, everyone's getting bearish. Everyone's panicking. And then I'm looking to place 100k long around 100k region. So Bitcoin's at 100 down here somewhere. And I think we go back and retest this this resistance here. I think we push back up, retest resistance around 112k. We could push through this, but I would expect a rejection. What happens when you break through support? Support becomes resistance. Quite often than not, you will always come back and retest that breach, retest that support level. And that would be another 10x. So that would turn my $100,000 into $1 million. So just in two moves, all I have to do is predict 2 moves, and my $10,000 is $1 million. And you know, it's moved based off TA, right? It's moved based off technical analysis. It's moved based off on-chain data. You know, there's tools that are actually indicating that this has a high chance of playing out. It's not a guaranteed chance. It's not a 100% chance. There is a high chance, a reasonable chance that this actually does play out. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated on this trade. We're gonna see if I can turn 10k into $1 million live. Not technically live, but I'm gonna keep you updated on the trade because it's not gonna happen overnight, guys. Right? I expect this to happen over 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. If you don't have 10k to take the trade, so if I was taking this trade with 1k, what would it return? So if you were taking the trade with $1,000, for example, well, what I would do, I can't tell you guys what to do. What I would do personally, if I took the trade with 1,000, first of all, we already went into profits, right? So we're about 50% in profits. So you would be on 1. If you took the trade with us in my Discord, if you were taking the trades with us and in here, by the way, you can join the Discord if you want. So if you took the trade with us in the Discord, you would have about 1.5k. Okay, so you'd be on about 1.5k now. So what I'm doing is setting my stop loss. So it's completely free money. So you can't lose anything now. So you can't lose your initial 1k. And then if we had the BTC move to the downside and you had 1k, instead of 100k, you would have 10k here. So money makes money, right? And then if you were to take this trade, or let's say I took this trade with 10k, then the target would be 100k. Okay, so it would be the same challenge, but you would just be trying to turn $1,000 by shorting here into $100,000 by longing here, right? So money makes money. The same if I was a whale, right? If I was a whale and I was taking this trade with $1 million, let's actually say 100k, right? 100k, because $1 million would be crazy. 100. If I was a whale, I could take this with 100k. Too much of my portfolio to risk, right? Risk management is key. 100k. Let's say I took this with 100k, and it came down 10x. So I've now made $1 million on that short from BTC 112k down to 100k. So I've made my $1 million, and then I go and put a $1 million long on and try and 10x that. That would be $10 million. So just in 2 moves, if I was a whale and this played out, I would turn my 100k into 10 million in a week, in a month, maybe in a month to 5 weeks. That's how crazy this space is. And also, my 100k is now 150k, right? Because we're already 50% up. So I've already made 50k. I've set my stop loss to entry, so I can't lose my 100k. So now I'm either going to end up making some small amounts of profits, or I'm going to hit my 10 million target, right? There's no loss here. There's no way I can lose because I set a stop loss. I love it. I absolutely love this space, and I love having targets like this. Look, they don't always play out. They don't always hit, but you're seeing this cycle. We've made some calls with areas that we're interested in buying at, and the price has literally bounced off of those exact areas, right? We bought the tariff dip. And I literally said to the dollar that it's probably going to bounce off this orange line, and it literally bounced off this orange line. We started to short the market up here, and the market completely crashed up here. So sometimes the TA is really playing out, guys. And I don't know what the odds are of this happening. It depends what sort of data you're looking at. But, you know, the odds are there. There's decent odds there, and now I can't lose. So for me, I like to take some risks here and there. I like to take some risks. If there's a chance I can turn 10K into $1 million in 5 weeks, and the setup is almost there, and we're starting to lose key supports, you know, I'm going to take the trade. You know, I can't lose. So that's kind of the setup I've got for now, guys. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Do you think we can come down to 100K? I will admit it is a big ask. It is a big ask trying to come down to 100K, because we're going to have a lot of support. We're going to have a lot of support at 109 around here. See where we had this trading range before? We have our technical target of the descending triangle at 106. But 100K is such a beautiful region because it's such a big psychological number. It's very hard to close below that. This is what makes it such a nice setup. If we can break through all of these support levels and we can get to 100K, I'm so confident in this trade. This is the hardest part, right? This is the hard part, hoping that we lose support here. But we can see the institutions are actually helping us. We can see that the smart money have started to short the market, almost inside information on chain, right? We know that this market kind of needs a pullback, especially if we want to have a good Q4. If you bullish on Bitcoin, you really want it to come down, right? You don't want to just keep pumping and pumping and pumping. You're not building support. You're not refueling the rocket ship. You need to come down, liquidate all the longs, refuel the rocket ship, shake everyone out, get everyone bearish, you know, and then pump, and then try and send it into a higher Q4. So it does kind of feel like we are coming down to refuel at the moment. It would almost be perfect, right? Come down to 100K, refuel, and then try to push for higher highs, because you can't just keep going up like this, right? You can't just keep going up like this. I think when we longed Bitcoin, I can't remember where we longed it, down here somewhere. I think I made like $250,000 just longing. Like, imagine the longs, the money that people have made from taking some of these longs. We've gone from $77,000 to 124 in a very short amount of time. These pullbacks and corrections are really healthy, guys, and you know, it's still bullish. If we come down to 100K, a lot of people will be bearish, but it's still very bullish. It's still bullish, and this is a lot easier. This would be a lot easier of a long position than this short here. This is very hard, this short. Because you've already come down from 123, you know, you've got some support here. If we can start to close under this for a few days, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. But we are starting to pierce this support level, right? We are starting to pierce this, and we can see that, you know, BlackRock, Fidelity, Cafe, they're all selling at the moment, which is definitely in our favor. Guys, none of the information in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto is highly risky. You can lose all your money investing in anything. I'm not a financial advisor, so always do your own research first. James Wynn is still bullish. He posted yesterday saying Ethereum all-time highs next week. Buy the dip. Regards, James Wynn. So he's still bullish. I think he's long in his longs. I think he's probably going to get liquidated again. Be careful. Hopefully he can stay bullish all the way to 100K. If we can get down to 100K and James is still bullish and he flips bearish at 100K, I might even double down, guys. I might even double down. A lot of people are still bullish. There's a lot of hope still on socials. Everyone's still bullish. They're saying that this is going to end up being a short squeeze and that they don't know what they're doing. We've been here before, right? We started to short Ethereum on the ETF, and the shorts reached all-time highs, and the price came down like 65%. And you know, the Moon Boys were in disbelief. And then I posted recently saying, you know, Eric Trump started saying "told you so" about Ethereum. Naib started posting his unrealized gains. Kramer was bullish. We just reached a lot of froth and FOMO. Google searches were all-time highs. And then what happens after these events? What happens after the froth gets a bit crazy? The market comes back and humbles you, right? We see it time and time again, guys. If we can get, I don't want to get to extreme fear too early. If we can get to 100K and start hitting extreme fear, fantastic, right? I don't want to start hitting extreme fear down here, 108, 109, because we might get a lot of buy the dip and it might throw me out. But hey, look, sometimes I like to take a risk. If I have the chance to turn a 10K to $1 million in 5 weeks, I'm not gonna take that for granted. I can't lose now. I've already set a stop loss. It's free money. You know, the worst that can happen is I'm no worse off, and the best that can happen is I end up making $1 million. What are these other arrows here, right? Because if this is move 1, this is move 2. What's move 3, move 4? Well, after a big pump like this, so if we come from 100k to resistance, what happens when you hit resistance? Well, that's where I open a short, right? I short resistance, I long support, and this would be the moment of truth, and in my opinion, potentially whether the bull run is on or over. If we push up here, get rejected, we come down. We want to make a higher low here. We can maybe use a Fibonacci retracement to try and work out where the golden ratio is. Maybe the golden ratio would probably be around this area. If this plays out, guys, we're talking 3 or 4 moves down the line, which is very hard to predict. Imagine all this plays out. So yeah, we want to make a higher low here. What you don't want to do is you don't want to do this, right? If you do this, pretty much people are going to start questioning whether the bull market is actually over. Which, you know, I don't personally think it is. I think there is a chance that it might be over. We've talked about that on the monthlies. You want to make a higher low here, and you want to break through this resistance, and you want to start to liquidate all the bears, because a lot of retail would have flipped bearish down here. A lot of shorts would have got opened. Longs should be getting paid out, but we know that a lot of shorts from coming down here should be getting paid out, but we know a lot of people don't like to take profits off the table, so they'd probably just hold. And then if we can break above this resistance, if this happens, this in my opinion is the final rally into Q4, and then we're looking for a top of the market, right? We're looking for a top of the market price. So we're getting very close now. I think we're either going to do something like this. It doesn't have to come down to 100k. Like, we might even hit this technical target and do something like this. But I think this is the kind of play I'm looking at over the next couple of months. This would be the dream setup, because if I do turn 10k into $1 million, I'm still going to continue trading, right? Only with 1% with 10ks. But I would definitely be interested in taking another short here if we come back up to this resistance, and looking for a higher low here, right? Looking for this exact thing to play out. Likewise, if we do something like this and we come down and we break this, then, you know, I'm looking for long-term short positions and potentially end of the market short positions. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. Let me know what you're doing. If you want to join us, you want to see my buy and sell alerts, you want to see what trades I'm taking, if you want to jump in the Discord, the guys have been absolutely printing in the Discord on some of the trades we've been taking lately. You can join in there. I do announcements, so I do regular market updates. I do my buy alerts, my portfolio, we do giveaways. This is VIP, so we're tracking Murad, we're tracking a lot of the top traders. We're tracking the meme coin whales, James Wind, buys and sells. We're tracking hyperliquid traders as well, so really good hyperliquid traders. We're looking to see when they go long and short and try and use that for confluence as well. One of the top, I won't say who they are, we're kind of keeping some of these private, but one of the top institutions has been killing it. I've watched them make $100 million, guys. I've literally watched them make $100 million in a few months, and they are short right now. They're short heavy, big time short on Ethereum, big time short on a lot of assets. And for now, the trend is your friend, right? I've just watched them make $100 million in a very short amount of time. So I continue to use it for confluence. I'm not going to copy their trades. I'm still going to use my own head and look at the charts and look what's going on, which you have to use your own head, because most people are still bullish right now and buy the dip. And I think those guys are going to get wrecked short term, especially if they're taking long positions. But yeah, tracking all of these different data and confluence is really helping. We've got great chat in here. We've got a great bunch of guys. We're all talking about trades and setups in the Discord. We've got research section when we're researching new tokens and companies. We're also tracking on chain, right? We're tracking the smart money on chain, so we get real-time alerts when the smart money receives stuff. So we can see here smart money received $6.9 million of USDT in the last 24 hours. So we can see that the smart money are actually taking profits out of the market. Smart money received $13 million of USDC in the last 24 hours, $5.76 million. So this gives me confidence that the smart money is still selling their altcoins. They're still selling their Ethereum. They're selling and taking profits into stable coins. So we can see the smart money is selling. We can see the ETFs are selling. and we can see the price is going down, and we can see James Wynn is bullish. So, you know, do I follow the smart money, or do I follow James Wynn, who trades like retail? Do I follow the KOLs who are telling me to long and buy and long your longs right now, or do I follow the smart money? Well, personally, I choose to follow the smart money, and it's played out really well for me this cycle. I've changed my life, and you know, if I can help some of you guys do that too, you know, that would be great. Guys, like and subscribe on the video so you don't miss out on any of our notifications. Press the bell notification button if you are going to take some trades. How much would it be with $100? So $100, if you, because 1K is a lot. I kind of forget where I started. I started with such a small amount of money. Taking $100 trade is so foreign to me now, but I know that a lot of people, you know, don't have that much capital to play with. Unfortunately, guys, money makes money. So the smaller amounts you start with, the harder it is to scale, right? So if Bitcoin does crash here, $100 would turn to 1K, and if we caught the bounce, the 1K would turn to 10K. So it's still pretty good. Two predictions, $100. Two predictions right, and $100 turns into 10K in what? 1 month? Tell me another market where that's possible, right? Tell me another market where that's possible. And you know, who can earn another $100? Anyone. Anyone can go and make $100 any day they like if they really want to work for it. You can go on Fiverr. You've got a PhD now with ChatGPT. There's no excuse. Anyone can go make $100. So the risk reward is crazy with some of these opportunities. And then you have the 10K. 10K, you 10x that, it's 100K. You 10x that, it's $1 million. So it's only $100 is 4 trades away to $1 million. How insane is that? Like, it's actually bonkers. It's very hard to predict, but you only have to get 2 predictions right for your $100 to 10K, and then you only have to get 2 more for your 10K to $1 million. 4 predictions in total, $100 to $1 million. And what you could also think about is when you do an accumulator, because I used to do football bets. When you do an accumulator, how many predictions do you need to make? You need to make, when you do an accumulator, you're doing like 10 predictions, 20 predictions, and you know, you're putting on a very small amount of money. So you're putting on, I don't know, $10, $20. And what's your returns? It's nowhere near the returns of making 2 predictions right. It's nowhere near. So in crypto, 2 predictions, you know, gives you 100x your initial. Just 2 predictions. Not only that, you've got all of these different charts and data and tools and, you know, retail psychology that helps you understand the market and, you know, make these calls, right? I'm not going to go through my buy alerts, but, you know, we've made these calls over and over again. Like, we've literally given exact bounce areas. The price has literally hit that level and bounced. And it does pain me sometimes because I think, man, if I'd have just longed, I was so confident if I'd have just longed with a larger amount, I would have made life-changing money. So now I'm going to try and do it, guys. Now I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to hold this short. It's either, these are the only 2 outcomes. It's going to hit my stop loss and I haven't lost anything, right? I'm no worse off. Or it's going to hit my target down here and I make 100K. And I get wrecked taking this 100K trade. Or, well, I can't really. I'm going to set a stop loss on my 100K trade, right? So if I take a long down here, I only need it to bounce a little bit and I have a stop loss. So I can't lose the 100K once it's in profit. So then it's either I finish with 100K or I have $1 million, right? So I only need technically to get 1 call right to make the 100K. And then hopefully that's locked in and it's free money after this pumps here. I'm waffling. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know what you think, what you're doing. That's it for now. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one.